Whew. It is absolutely freezing in here. I think it's about -2 outside. I don't know if you can see my breath. I put the heating on, but not a lot has happened. Anyway, look, right, I'm going to talk about my massive challenge I did the other weekend. And I guess I call it a challenge, a race, an event. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it. But if you haven't watched my video, I'll put it up there now. I ran or tried to run 100 miles around some local trails. Yeah, it went all right. It was, you know, one of those things. It was really, really difficult. But I'm going to recap on that very quickly. I'm then going to just talk about a few things which I learned from it, so I can share them with you. Yeah, and if you're into ultra running, that's brilliant. Come and watch this, and it's well worth a watch. If you're kind of thinking about, should I do an ultra? Definitely, this might help. This video might help you get a bit of just a few little tips along the way. But there's so much to talk about, and I don't know how I'm going to all fit it in, so I'm going to speak quite quick, trying to get it all done. I'll chapter the video as well, so if you want to skip through and go to the sort of the bits further on, then please do, because it'll probably end up being a 10-15 minute video as always. So let's start. So let's talk about, firstly, the race, the event, the challenge, whatever I did. 100 miles, local trails, really, really hilly. The ground was terrible, super, super muddy, and that took me by surprise how wet it was going to be and the damage it would do and deterioration it would do on my body throughout the whole event. I managed to run 80 miles. I binned it at 80. At the end, I was absolutely shattered. It took a lot out of me, and I don't think I really wanted to go out again. It was super late, sort of 1:30 in the morning. I had an emergency number to phone. A friend was phone a friend as such, and I was going to, just going to give him a call if there was any problems. And I think there may have been a couple coming up. So I decided to bin it and just be safe, which I'm glad I did. So I certainly don't feel defeated. Had some lovely comments from everyone. Thank you so much. But be assured, I'm bouncing back. It was a great event. And really what I got out of it was the fact that I can put on my own personal event, my own solo self-effort event. I don't need a race to really get, maximise the sort of catapult from my training, which I've been doing since October, as you well know if you've been following some of the training updates. Right, so how did it go? At the moment, I guess we'll start at the end, is I'm now in recovery. I've decided not to run for 3 weeks. Well, I say that, I'm on my second weekend coming up, and it's been lovely to stop, I must say. But I've done some great recovery. I've been doing my Pilates, a little bit of stretching, but Pilates definitely, just getting the glutes activated, getting the hamstrings moving, loosening up the hips, things like that. I've had a few bars, Epsom salt bars. They've been really relaxing. I've done some nice walks with the kids, slightly stressful with them, but it's been nice to get out and not have to run. My legs recovered really, really quickly after the run. I was literally, I reckon, second day afterwards, I felt absolutely fine. I've picked up no real injuries. Still got my ankle issue I've got going on, but I'm going to work through that. I think it's like a trapped nerve of some sort. I'm not sure, but it didn't affect me at all during the run. I didn't have any problems with injury at all. My legs felt really good, so the recovery is going really well at the moment. And I'm speaking to coach last night, I think it was, and we're just talking about leaving it a bit longer. As you know, I wear a Whoop strap, and it's saying that my recovery is really, my HRV is really poor at the moment. It's in the red, and that really surprises me, because personally I feel like I could go out and run and start training again. But I just know I need to take it easy. I've been going down to my gym, just lifting a few weights, flushing out the legs, been using my recovery gun. Yeah, loads. I love my recovery gun. And yeah, just generally relaxing. Work's been pretty stressful as always, so not sleeping very well at the moment. And that's probably due to the fact that I've the body's really trying to repair itself, and that's a really good gauge of overtraining as well if you're not sleeping properly. If you're off your appetite, I've certainly not off my appetite, I'm eating loads, but if you start losing appetite and if you start sleeping quite badly, you definitely are overtraining. So you need to just really bear that in mind on recovery. But hey, I probably might go out for a little jog this weekend, but very, very slight. And next week recover as well, and then pick it up. So it's going to be a good 3-week recovery, and then we'll start to look into a new regime, a new plan, something exciting going on. Not quite sure yet, but I'm going to work that out. So here we go. Recap on the run. It was a mission. Did my loops. I did 3 loops in the end. Clockwise, anti-clockwise and clockwise. The first loop went pretty well. but I challenged myself to run under 24 hours. And in fact, I was really on target to smash that towards the end. But what I made sure I did was when I did the Arc of Attrition, as I ran fast at the beginning, I'm starting to get the confidence now. Once you've done a few 100-milers, you start to gauge that it's okay to start off quite quick. And if you've done all the training and you've got all the confidence in that, you can actually push off quite quickly. And I found that's something I'm learning to do. And it basically means towards the end, you're not playing catch up. You're already sitting at sort of 16 to 17 hours of running, and that you've still got maybe 3 or 4 hours left in the bag to really push hard and maybe finish off with a good result. I had 30k at the end to do, so I don't know how long that would have taken me, probably about 4 hours. So I was looking for probably a 21, 22, probably a 22 hour there. So the first loop went pretty well, but by about 20 miles, I started to deteriorate a bit, and it's usually around the 30-mile mark. And the reason is because I was running up the hills. I didn't walk up. Some of the steep hills I walked up, but I run up the hills, and that's a great strategy if you're doing an ultra, is to just walk up the hills. Power hike, definitely. You can walk up relaxed as well, but if you want to try and get a good time, power hiking is equally as fast as running slowly. So I did that the first kind of loop and got to my aid station, and that was good. I felt okay. Once I got to the aid station, I refueled really well. The sun came out because I had rain on the first loop. The sun came out. It was a beautiful day. Fantastic conditions. Got a really good buzz leaving. Things were going really well. However, got to about the 50, 60k mark, and I really had a bad dip. And I started feeling sick, and I was like, right, why am I feeling sick? This is not good. I've been doing my calories. I ran with Spring Energy. I was doing 200-300 calories an hour quite easily. I was taking on maybe a little less water than I should have done, because every 13 miles was my aid station, so I only had a litre every 13 miles. So yeah, maybe underdoing it on the water, but 2.5 hours and a half a litre, basically an hour, is what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I thought I was on top of things. Anyway, got past that, as you do, and picked up again. And then towards the end of the second loop, I met up with one of my friends, Rye. He came and ran some miles with me, and that kind of flummoxed my brain a little bit, because the idea was to do it as a solo run, but I was really pleased for the company because I knew it was going to be really tough, and it was great to run with him. He's an experienced runner, but I felt a bit awkward at the second stop, about 55 miles, because he was hanging around being really polite, and I wanted him to kind of not have to hang around too long, and I rushed a bit in the aid station, although he didn't rush me. So if you're watching this, Rye, you didn't rush me, don't worry, but I rushed myself. And I don't think I got myself organised. Well, I know I didn't properly. I didn't take on enough calories when I should have done, and that was a big problem because I paid for it later on. And basically the first thing I did, which caused me a problem, once I left Rye, it was obviously pitch black, going at about 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock, maybe I'm not sure what time. My battery light on my Petzl went dead, and it never goes dead. I've obviously got two batteries. One of them is obviously failing. Anyway, that went dead. I was in the dark. I was in trouble. I had a small backup light and my phone. Fortunately, one of my friends came and dropped off another torch. What a diamond geezer. However, the problem was that mentally started to deteriorate my positivity as such, and I started to kind of lose that kind of the mojo that I was going to do this. And I knew there was a big storm coming in at 3 in the morning, and that was playing in my mind as well. So I got to the third loop, and then all of a sudden I was about 12k, 15k out, I'm not sure where, and my little toe exploded in pain. It was really sore. I mean, I can usually manage quite a lot of pain, and I just run through it. That's one of my things. That's fine, but this was really bad, and I had to stop, check out my foot. And afterwards, once I'd taken the sock off, once I'd finished everything, all the running and stuff, a blister had formed underneath the nail, and it was super sore. And I also had a blister under my big toe as well. That would have maybe been a showstopper, or just running a lot of pain. However, I went back and I felt really sick as well. So the sickness got me, and usually sickness comes when I'm running in heat, and you're dehydrated, you're not taking enough fuel, you didn't eat. But it took me an hour to eat one gel. That's how bad it was. And I didn't have any backup plan or any solution. So I got to finish the third loop, which was up to 130k, and that was enough. I was absolutely shattered, felt pretty dizzy, felt pretty sick, as you can see from the video. Watch it. It's a great little watch if you want to see it. And yeah, that was it. But I felt like I'd done it. I challenged myself. I'd gone out and done it, and it was fantastic. So I think really, all in all, good job. So I'm going to just talk about now a few little things which I think you might be worth listening to. A couple of takeaways you can think about when you're doing your ultras next time. So the first one has got to be take your time. Just slow it down. Slow, slow, slow. I rush a lot. I'm a bit of a flapper. Always have been in life. And I think there's points, obviously, when you're running fast, which you're running a half, a marathon, things like that, time is crucial. But in these runs, unless you're trying to get a really low time, like an 18-hour or something like that, you're 24 hours, you have got plenty of time. And I just rushed certain things. When I stopped for my long aid station break at 50 miles, 55 miles, whatever it was, I could have taken at least another 10 minutes. I could have cleaned my feet. I could have changed my shoes, but we'll go on to that about kit in a minute. I could have done a few things better. Probably taken on some proper food. Hey, I had a whole house I could have dealt with and sorted myself out. I did change my top, which I rarely do, but I think I could have taken a lot more time. And I do stress to everyone, especially if you're doing your first 100 miler, is at the aid stations, you've really got to take your time and just get yourself mentally prepared, ready for the next push, because it's going to be a long time till you won't go out. But I also, because the aid stations were so far apart, that was making life for me very, very difficult. But really just take your time, and I need to slow down a bit, and obviously making massive mistakes like leaving a battery, things like that, just always in a rush. So the other thing I'm not great at is preparation. Although I look as though I am, had everything laid out, I had all my bags of nutrition, 1, 2, 3, 4 for each aid station. I had my drinks laid out, looked all good. In the van, it was all laid out nicely. The night before, what you didn't see was I was in a bit of a panic and full of self-doubt. I was worried, should I go, should I not? Looking at the weather, I had a long WhatsApp conversation with one of my friends, and he really supported me and really helped. So cheers, Craig, nice one. Helped me make the decision to actually go. A couple of other friends said, yeah, the weather's looking good tomorrow. But I had massive self-doubt, and I was kind of organised. I had to then get up. I had to organise all my stuff again, because I suddenly realised, I was going to get up really early. So I ended up running, leaving at about 7:30, 7:40, and I was actually going to leave at 10. So that sort of timeline from, when I woke up till 10, I'd have plenty of time. So I ended up having to do the night before. I just wasn't prepared. And I know this, it's such a stupid error. You've got to be prepared. For whatever, everything's laid out 100%. But I always do it the night before, and I'm going to try and get more prepared 2 weeks before, have it all sorted out. It is difficult in the house, because I don't really have the rooms. You can't lay it out and leave it there, but have everything done so the night before you are all organised. I also, when I got to my aid stations, there was too much going on, and I should have just had a plan of eating that and lay it out a lot better. I think when you go to aid stations on races, it's all laid out nicely, and you can pick and choose, and off you go. So one thing I didn't do is take food with me on the go. So when I left my home, I could have taken some hot food, some noodles or something like that, and eaten them on the way. Just a bit more preparation. As you're running, you've got plenty of time to think about it, but your brain just goes to jelly, absolutely goes to jelly. And if you're not prepared, you fail. And that's one of the reasons why I did, because of, not having everything organised. I also didn't take in my salt tablets, and that's what I'm going to come up to next, talk about. So the other thing really you need to get sorted out is when you're taking your nutrition, what's going to happen throughout the race. And you've got to be prepared for the worst, and that is sickness. And some people are really sick, and that's pushing themselves far too far, and they shouldn't be getting into that state. They're poorly hydrated, or you haven't taken on enough carbohydrate. You should be doing sort of 70 grams, 60 to 70 grams, depending if you're a lady, then yeah, probably 60, man, maybe 70, but we all have different metabolisms, so 70 grams is probably a good way to do it. You should also be taking in your 500 millilitres of water every hour if you can, even if you're not feeling hot. And you've got to have a solution for when you start feeling sick. If that nutrition isn't working for you, what's your next, what are you going to do afterwards? So I ran with Spring Energy, worked really well. They're really nice. I really like them. You don't have the maltodextrin in them. You don't have loads of sugars. It's real food. And I enjoyed them. Bit worried they've got quite a bit of fat in them, but I'm not sure about that. So anyway, they went down pretty well, but towards the end I couldn't stomach them anymore, and that's all I had. Well, at least I thought I had, but I should have mixed it up. I should have had a couple of different gels on me, a couple of different brands, and that would have maybe, some sweets, probably some sugary, like those Cliff gels, things like that, Cliff shots, that's what they are, and just mixed it up a little bit. And I didn't have that on me, so I didn't have a solution. And I think you're going to mix things up a lot and think, okay, get to 60 miles, 70 miles, your stomach's wrecked, what am I going to do if that happens? And, you know, even though I've run sort of 400s now and gone for my 5th one, I still am making the common mistake, which we shouldn't all be making. So we all love a bit of kit. We love our kit. Everyone loves their kit. I ran with a Salomon Advanced 12 vest. I love it. Really comfortable. That went down really well. It's got loads of storage, water bottles. They bounce a little bit, but you don't really notice that when you're running. Yeah, really good bit of kit. But I get bruising just underneath the ribs wearing it. Now I run with, I haven't got one here. Here we go. So I usually take a heart rate monitor with me, and that goes round my, obviously round my chest, and I think it rubs, definitely rubs on the pack, and it bruises. And I got really bad bruising. I had it when I did the A100, and I get really bad bruising under the ribs. And that caused me quite a lot of pain, probably around about the 50 to 60 mile mark. So that's not so good. So that's one issue I've got to work out. Maybe I'm not going to run with a heart rate monitor again. I'm just going to bin that because I don't really need to know my heart rate over 100 miles. It's just so up and down on a trail. I think for a race, maybe if you're doing a marathon or something, you want to check your heart rate out. But anyway, that's my preference. So I'm going to bin the heart rate monitor and have a go wearing that vest again. So that was pretty good. What else? I wore my Evo 2 Mafatis. They worked out really well. I love them. I wish I had another pair of trainers I could have switched into. I've got my Ultra Olympuses, but they would just be far too heavy and get wet, and they're just like too much for this sort of running. So I wish I had another pair of Mafatis, but as you know, they're expensive shoes, so I don't. And I would have switched out my shoes probably round about, well, on the 3rd loop perhaps, or maybe before, because I didn't, it was so wet and my feet were getting wrecked. Loads of grit, loads of dirt inside them, and I didn't take my socks off or change my socks. I should have done 55 miles, should have just done it even if there wasn't a problem. My philosophy is usually if it's not broken, don't fix it. And nothing was broken until that last moment where my little toe exploded. But I usually run with Injinji socks, and I use stance socks. I put squirrel's nut butter on my feet before, to give them a bit of waterproofing and a bit of, because you want the skin to be supple and soft. And I did that, and that could have been reapplied. Arc of Attrition, they actually, the Archangels as they're called, the guys who are helping you, they actually took all my shoes off and sort of cleaned all my feet with wet wipes, everything, and then I went back out again. So should have sorted my feet out. That would have probably saved my toe and my race, to be fair. What else? Kit wise, that's about it really. I didn't really have any issues. Obviously my head torch, my Petzl, I think I've got to buy another battery. That was just a failure. What an idiot. I mean, you know, you just don't do that. But if it was a race, that would have all been in my kit, because I wouldn't have taken my kit off, laid it out and done something, whatever I did when I stopped on my 55 miles. So no real kit issues. Wouldn't have changed a few things. You're going to get uncomfortable in your kit, unless you're lucky, because it is a long way. But I don't get any blisters, you know, it's not blisters, but any hot spots around my body or anything like that. I wear my Montane long sleeve. Now that goes back to this issue of feeling sick. I think I overheated during the day because it was so warm, and I had my long sleeve on. I sweated a lot. It was great, and I didn't take any salt tablets, and I usually do take salt tablets, and I didn't, and I don't know why I didn't take any before. And I think, well, I do know why, because I thought, oh, I'll be cold, we're not going to sweat a lot, not going to need my salt tablets. But obviously I needed my salt tablets, so that's another thing to get right. Nutrition. Take my salt tablets. Should have learned that from MDS. Just take them. And I think my sodium, I haven't done a sweat test with precision hydration, which would have been really good to have done, but I know that I sweat a lot, like we all do, salty sweat, so maybe that's one thing I should go and do. Yeah, and finally, mind games. Well, wow, that was it's just 100 milers, just absolutely, I love it. Your brain, you just become dumb. You become jellified when you're running, and you do some really stupid things. And that's just part of the process, to keep focused and really concentrate. And I think if you ran with a crew, fantastic, they do everything for you. If you've got people at aid stations helping you and giving you pep talks, and other competitors you're running with having a chat and everything like that, that gives you a massive boost. And it's amazing the experience I've had running without that, how much it affects your mind, because you've got no one to chat to, no one to share the trails with, no one to cry with, no one to laugh with, no one to do anything with. And that made a big difference to, and that I knew it was going to be really hard because of that, but I didn't realize how hard it was going to be. I did some really funny things, like towards the end I was commentating on my run, just trying to keep my brain going. I listened to some music and I had my music on, and that was really good. I got bored of that after a while, so I switched that off and I started actually talking about my trail right towards the end. You know, I'm doing a left here, do a right, whoa, easy, 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 and all this sort of stuff. And it was pretty fun actually. But you're really being tested. There's things in the trees, you know, especially at night. I'm used to running at night, but there's some weird stuff.
Birds.
There's like roosting birds. I think you heard them in the video, and they properly spooked you out. But apart from that, your brain just goes to jelly, and you can't think and you can't do things, and that's, I don't know if you can improve on that. However, I am reading a book. It's called The Brave Athlete, and it's all about psychology and all about your brain is your best friend and worst enemy. And I've only just got into it a bit, but when I was running, I didn't even think about this. But anyway, it's really good if you're into that sort of stuff, because it is all about the mental brain. The training went really, really well. I was fast. I was moving really well. I don't think I really, apart from going up the hills, my legs never really got too much build of lactate, anything like that. I was really on good form and no injuries or anything like that. So I just think it was overall the preparation, and overall never done this before. I am definitely going to go and do it again. I loved it, and you know, I'd like to go out tomorrow and do it again. I mean, I love running, as we all do, and I think, you know, maybe take on something. I'd like to try to get a loop around my house, 100-mile loop, and try and work out an actual 100-mile rather than having to do a single, you know, a multi-loop. I mean, actually just do one loop. That'd be really cool. Maybe just try a 50-miler. And race that and see how hard I can go, and just do some, you know, running this year. We don't know if we've got any races coming up. My big goal is UTMB, which is in Spain in July. I've booked into that. That's been deferred from last year. Yeah, is that going to happen? I don't know. But what's next for me? I think I'm going to work on a bit of speed and try and get fast, do a bit of flat stuff, just to see what I can do, you know, what my thresholds are, things like that. That'd be really, really fun, but I'll document all of that. But anyway, look, that's enough from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Love hearing from you, all the comments. Obviously press that bell for notifications. I'm going to be posting some good stuff. I don't know if I brought it out. Did I bring it out? Oh yes, look. One of my goals, if you haven't seen my video, one of my goals is upstairs is I'm going to put it up there. Look what I bought. Oh, GoPro 9. Very, very excited. So I'm going to be bringing everyone some wicked videos, getting really excited about the channel. Thank you so much for all you new subscribers. And yeah, love you running. Get into it like we all do. It's fantastic stuff. Hopefully I'm inspiring you all, and you're certainly inspiring me with all your comments and all your shared likes and everything like that. So if you want to share the channel, it really helps me. And yeah, stay safe. Enjoy your running.